Hello, welcome to Art Online, a special guest
Hello.
today. Hello, it's Elno. How are you doing, Elno?
Hello. Hey, yes, good. Surviving these times.
Oh yeah, I bet. I was just thinking before lockdown, one of the last exhibitions that I actually went to was yours. Actually, it was the WOM Collective exhibition in Camberwell. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well, how I can forget? I think I'm gonna remember the whole of my life. It was amazing experience, and also have you there. I remember closing, and with a few of us there, and you were one of them, and yeah, it just was great experience.
It was a nice, there's a nice community going on there, wasn't there? I mean, can you tell me something about the WOM Collective and the exhibition that you had?
Yeah, I mean that exhibition, everything started with a really sketching ideas, and the collective is really young. We want to be a year in August, and everything started like just hanging out, few friends. It's a collective made by female street artists based in London at the moment, but we would love to be completely international. And yeah, we just put few of us ideas together and our work, and we found this space in Camberwell, and we say let's do a show. Let's transform a space that is completely, the space was awful in the beginning, and let's convert it in a street art gallery where artists can have the space to sell, exhibit, and serve the artwork, without any middleman or middle person, So that was the goal and I think we made it. We made it because the experience, and when we became together, like the 18 female artists that came together, the excitement, the energy, and the community and unity that we made, I think just was the base of something that, we want to develop and make it bigger.
How did you, because it was a great exhibition. I remember it well, and you're right, it was in a sort of warehouse type area, which was full of rubbish and bricks and debris. You got in there, you cleaned it up, and you put on this great show. But tell me about, and of course the key thing is that it's all female artists, a lot of female street artists. All the money going to the artists if somebody bought work and stuff, so that's important as well.
Yeah.
What gave you the idea to start this all-female collective in the first place? Because that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, the idea came to my mind in the point of before the collective, I was hanging out, last summer with few of my female friends, artists, and I keep see some of them in exhibitions or in different jams, and was like, let's meet to paint, and then I think one of my good skills is I'm a really sociable person, and I know a lot of people, and I love to connect people. I'm not like that type of person, and I have a friend and I want to keep that friend just for me, so I love to share it. And I was the excuse to say, okay, I create a WhatsApp group. We were 10 of us, and we're like, girls, let's paint this weekend. It was the weather was lovely in London, and some of them were asking can I bring a friend? And it's like, yeah, this is open for everyone. Whoever want to come, let's have fun. So that day we have a really lovely day, and some of the girls definitely wanted more. And once that we create that group, it was the excuse to okay, that now I can share ideas, and if they support it and they are motivated to do it, let's do it. So I remember after that jam, my idea was okay, let's do another jam in winter, but we also can do maybe a small show. So everything was in the beginning. I wanted to do in Lake Street, and maybe rent one of the bars or the spaces there and do something more small. But then I met Raquel, and then with Lourdes, and also Carlene, got more involved. And then we meet few of us, and we put our energy and ideas together, and we're like, okay, let's do bigger. Carlene have the contact of this space. And then when I saw it, I was like, probably some people could see that space and say like, no way, but I could see the potential. I knew that was a lot of work to do, but I knew that we were hard workers, and we have to clean it, make it, repair floor, walls, and we could make it happen. So that was initially, and then I think I've been experienced like women's circles, not creative, but like when I back from India, after experience a woman circle and what the energy between sisterhood, what we can create together, I really came back to London with the idea like I want to create more female groups, because I think it's the moment that we are awakening, and we are empowered ourselves more, but we kind of need that space, to see each other as a sister, not as a competition. So when we take that idea out of like, she's she's a competition for me, and it's not. She's your sister, and she's can be, supporting you. And if she is empowering and having, like a progress in her career and in her life, I get happy with that, So that exchange of energy, I think I really believe that is what the world needs, and then create it together. I'm not really a radical feminist. I support female power a lot, but I think we have to create a world together. But women still need that space, because I see some of them like in the beginning, when they paint around women, they feel really comfortable, and without that pressure or that competition, So yeah, that was the beginning, and then like obviously we created a small team as well with Carlene, Lourdes, and Raquel, and we are 4 of us are the core, the organizer, and then like the girls got involved in different ways, but amazing. That happened because everyone got involved, and put the part, definitely.
From what you're saying, it seems like there's a lot of energy that can be gained by having all female creatives together, working together, supporting each other, and just creating these is that what you feel? There's an energy there?
Yeah, definitely. It's a really strong energy, and now we are creating a network as well between us. So it's amazing, and we still have that group, and even if now we are not active, we are still active in that group, So if someone have like a competition offer or something like is coming out, we're sharing it, and even like jobs as well, like you need help, you have a commission and you need like few assistants, so we are sharing that space between us. And I think that is the energy, like the energy of sharing, of community, of unity, the one that is the healthy one for us to grow. I never believe really in the ego in art. I think ego, you have to love yourself, and you have to be strong and trust yourself, but the line to pass and and the ego becomes you is, in art happen a lot, and I think I never be like connected with that,
Mm-hmm.
I always be connected with like, if I believe in the power of art as a therapy, as a healing, as a connection, and when females, like between our collective is that energy, and everyone that came to the show in the opening, could feel that, even the days after, it was a beautiful sisterhood,
It's funny really how I think in your personal journey this has come full circle a little bit, because if you remember when we first met, and I think it was 2014, 2015,
yeah,
I can't remember the year, but it was at Femme, which was
Fierce.
An all-female street art festival in the Leek
Yeah.
Street Tunnel. That's when we first met. That's when one of your first painting gigs, wasn't it? And then now here you are setting up a new female collective with other friends as well. What do you remember? What do you remember about when you first came over and that?
Oh wow, it was. I have amazing memories of the first 10 years, to be honest, because I guess it was my first year in London, and I arrived I painted in Spain before, but I was really shy to paint with audience. So I remember someone told me about the festival, and I think it was the third wall that I painted in London, you know, and I went there with my really bad English. And it was just an amazing experience, you know, there's so many people, I mean, women painting, because the full tunnel was full of amazing artists. And there's just so many people supporting us and came to see us painting, you know. And through there, it was the open, like the doors open for me in London. I felt that, you know, like people even contact me after because saw me there, and I just like, wow, this wall of street art in London is so it's really open and it's welcome me, you know. And yeah, it was a shame that the festival in the end didn't continue, but you know, I saw like it's so many artists, so many female artists, you know, and like even in femme fairs in the day after, you know, was even more women and women's internationally coming. So, you know, so when that stopped, you know, and I still hanging out sometimes with Josie or with other of the girls that were part on that first femme fairs, you know, we always have that thought like, oh, this is a shame, you know, because, you know, we need to hang out more together, to paint more together. So I thought, let's do it, and let's try to do like in a space where we as an artist, we manage our work. So our show was like, okay, girls, this is the space. You have this space to use, but you manage your work. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be the middle person between, you know, your client and you. You know, put your details, all the information that you need, and you can deal with your clients. You know. So I think it's not too many space like that in London. You know, we go to the art galleries, and it's sometimes really hard to find a space, you know, to put your artwork and not being ripped off.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have been a big move for you at the time, because obviously you come from Spain, and I don't know what was the street art scene like in Spain compared to London, and what made you come to London in the first place? What was the trigger?
The trigger. I wasn't for that time living in Barcelona. So I lived there for 4 years before I came to London. And I mean, in Barcelona, you know, the street art scene was quite big. And I started to meet people the last years there. But I'm still really shy to paint in jams. So I used to go a lot to abandoned places there. And I think it was a time of my life that I was putting my energy, you know, not into the right place. So I was using my art as a therapy for the things that I was passing through. And I have a moment like that, and okay, Elena, you have to do a change. You know, you can't continue what you're doing here. So one of my lessons that I never passed in school was English, and I knew that in that time was already limiting me to maybe contact people from another countries, you know, even go on holidays to Germany or to another places and be able to communicate myself. So I thought, okay, let's come to London. And in that time, I have few friends living here. So they have a free room, like a room free in the house. And I just I need a change. And yeah, I think in my life, I didn't be scared to change city. I was like always something really exciting for me to come to a new place. No one knows me and I can explore this place, you know? And that was London for me the first year, you know, but I felt really lucky because I have a good welcome, you know, and my little friends then, you know, they could also support me with some, you know, experience already here. And then the artist thing here, I felt that was more open. Mm-hmm. I felt like in Barcelona, it was amazing, but some of the groups was a little bit close. Or maybe it's how I was feeling, because as well, I was not that confident, you know. But I remember one big wall, one of the jams that I painted there, and I was the only woman. And the men were lovely with me. Like, you know, I never have like a bad experience, I have to say. But I was painting really small. I was painting, the face of my character was like my face, you know. So imagine how I was struggling to do eyes and nose. And I remember one of my friends telling me, Elena, do bigger, you know, do bigger. It's going to be more tired, but it's going to be easier. And in that time I was like, no, you know, I was with markers doing the last small details. But when I came to London, I was a little bit more, maybe I was not as scared to, I saw a lot of places here painting, a lot of people painting, and the people not judging you too much. So I just, you know, go with the flow.
It sounds like that. I mean, it is a real awakening for you then. So you took a big risk coming to London, you know, to learn the language, pretty much, to immerse yourself, to just say, right, I'm just going to go, I'm just going to see what happens, immerse myself. And then now when you look at your art, it's funny you should say about painting small. Now you do paint big. In fact, I think I've only ever known you paint big, actually.
Yeah. I know going to small anymore. I mean, in the studio, you know, when I do small pieces, but in the world, it's hard for me now to go small. You know, sometimes I go like, hey, let's do something quick, and then it's like, oh my gosh, like the other day in Lextree, and I was with Rocky saying, wow, you know, we have 3 hours to do that, and it's a huge wall, you know, and I don't have that much paint, so I was like, okay, let's do it, you know.
So tell me about your art and what influences you. What sort of things do you draw on?
So I mean, as I said before, definitely is my therapy, and I think in some way I paint myself sometimes, not trying to do a portrait of myself, you know, but I think the emotion that lives in me in that moment comes, you know, through that character. I think few years ago, I used to be more focused to paint about feelings, about my emotions, about, you know, my broken heart, my sadness. And, you know, I remember like my characters were really colorful, but I always have tears. And some people start to ask me when they see me painting, like I have this question, you know, a few times, and that makes me think. And that was, why if you are so smiley person, your characters always are sad, or they have this melancholy, you know, feeling. And then that made me think, and obviously that was like, okay, because I can look like I'm really happy and charismatic, but inside I have my things, you know, and my art is my way to put it out. But then that makes me think a lot, and it's like, okay, when I paint in the street, it's a lot of people that is seeing my work and is being connected with my work, and that is my tool and my key to connect with people and to communicate with them. So what I want to communicate with them, you know. So in some point I felt a little bit selfish just talking about myself, or, you know, my sadness or my happiness. And then I thought, this is a really strong tool, you know, what message I want to give to the people. So I start to be more conscious in my artwork about what I want to say. And now I'm more conscious about, okay, this message, what I want to say. So I support and I believe, you know, in Mother Earth. I believe in community. I believe in the power of love. I believe in all of these positive feelings, emotions, and parts of ourselves, you know, then I want to rise up and bring them to my artwork and share that with the people, so people can be inspired by that. Or also create a conversation in taboo conversations, you know, like one of my pieces in the last TAA, I don't know, you see like the red room, there was this, I have this experiment in TAA is this, I mean, you can do whatever you want, you know, because they also like take empty spaces and we can transform them. So that was my playground, perfect playground. So I wanted to speak about menstruation, about womb, about this taboo conversation when we speak about our menstruation, when we, you know, we bleed, all women bleed mostly all their life. So I wanted to create that open conversation. So I got that room and I paint full on red, and I did a huge pussy flower. I have like the pussy flower in my mind. I want to do a huge mural of a pussy flower, showing us how beautiful it is, because we all come from that, you know, we all been there. And And that was an experience to the people and joining that room, you know, make them feel something. And when I was there during the days of the exhibition, sitting in a corner and seeing the reaction, you know, I got super surprised because I opened the conversation with more men than with women. And I have beautiful conversations, you know. And that was an experiment for me. And that also to see reaction and to speak about these things. And we have to speak about it, you know, openly without feeling guilty, without feeling dirty, without feeling weird. So I feel like now with my art, I want to speak about that. I want to speak about what's happening in the world, you know, and trying to bring like a positive message about it as well.
And when was this? I'm actually not sure if I've seen this yet. When was this? When did you create this piece of work?
That was last September. So I don't know. You don't know TAA Collective, Temporary Anonymous Artist?
I'm not sure that I do, but I'm definitely.
No, I don't think so because yeah, you have to. You will love it. I mean, Morgan kind of run the street artists. So it's all type of art. So they do. It's an amazing collective, really good organized as well. It's been like they've been running for years in London, and what they do is one big show a year, and they squat a building. You know the problem of the empty buildings in London. How many empty buildings are in London?
Yeah.
You know, and then artists are struggling to exhibit their work. So what they do is I love it. It's amazing because they obviously they have the squad crew, you know, professionals. For me, they are like salute, and they got space. And they say they open a call for artists, and everyone is welcome to go there during 3 days to do installations, you know, murals, exhibitions, and then it's open for another 3 days for the public, with also music, all type of arts, visuals, workshops. Is completely open for the community. And the freedom that you have is that you can speak about whatever you want, and you don't have the restrictions of a gallery, because you can do whatever you want with that space, because they are gonna demolish after, you know.
Yes.
So I will send you some videos, because I did like the whole red room, you know. I have the whole room, and then I invite two of my artist friends, one girl that paints with her body, Eva, and another girl that is a poet. So, you know, 3 of us, and Rocky as well, with filming and capturing the process. It was an experience for me to paint just in red. I got quite mad. I was 14 hours in a red room. I was wearing all red clothes, you know, even my underwear was red, my socks were red, everything was red, and I wanted to see what that color make me feel, you know.
How did it make you feel? How did it make you feel when you were in?
I was like in ecstasy, you know. It was like so active. When I stopped and I sitting down, and I remember I was rolling a cigarette, and then I started to feel pain all over my body, you know, because I was like 14 hours, no, stop. And then, but my mind, I was trying to close the eyes, you know, and my mind couldn't stop. So, you know, activate my mind for a few weeks, really intense. I want to do another one with blue color.
It seems from what you're saying, just hearing you talk about that story there, that exhibition that you put on, that installation, but also knowing your work as well, you throw yourself into it. So when you create a piece, it seems to me it's really immersive for you. So either you go all in, or you don't go in at all. Am I getting that true sense of that?
Yeah, I think when I creating like art completely free art, like, or, you know, it's not a commission. I mean, I come from design studies, you know, so I know that art and design, they go together sometimes, but they you know, it's different ways to work. So I adapt myself when I have like a commission, you know, and that I would say my design version come out more, you know, to adapt myself for what the person wants. But when I have the freedom to create, you know, I think in the moment artists, we are like the conductor of something, you know. It's hard sometimes to completely focus and be immersed on that. I struggle a lot because I'm a really destructive person. More when I'm in my studio, you know, so many distraction, and now it's even more distraction with all social media. So I need to switch off everything, and it's like, okay, let it this pass, you know, like be the conductor of something else that is passing. Because in that moment, I feel like, okay, my heart, my soul, my mind is connected with my hand, and it's letting it flow, you know. So even when you are in front of in a wall, I love it because it's really physical. So I feel like even if you are surround people, that moment of physical, you know, your body with your mind and your creativity that is in my womb coming out, you know, have to be there on the wall, you know. So I think in the wall I find easy to focus because it's really physical. And when I'm in I sometimes struggle in my room now when it's small form. I need to really switch off everything and maybe do like a little ritual, a little, you know, meditation or breathing, something, you know, to be able to focus more and be immersed in what I'm doing.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that. Do you sort of meditation and sort of, you mentioned ritual there in order to get yourself in the right space to do it. I mean, I would describe that as sort of like you get into, I mean, actually you talked about it, you said flow and getting yourself in the right state, the right frame of mind. So you're ready. When you look at the wall or what's in front of you, you're there, right? You're in the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. Because as I say, I think a few years ago as well, I kind of struggle. I have like a down moment of creativity, you know, and I start to think like, okay, I start to be really comparing myself with all of the social media, you know, and it's like, okay, what do people like or what they don't like, and that was terrible. Because then I felt myself drawing something and I'm trying to draw something for the people to like it. And then I'm not putting myself there. I don't like it. And probably the people are not going to like it because it's not me. It's not my true self is not there. So I really have to say like, okay, Elena, switch off, you know, phones and everything. And I now becoming more connected with my spiritual part. So I start to learn a little bit more about ritual. Well, I learning myself with myself, you know what I mean? So I mean, I start to study a little bit more like symbology of things like that, about so letting myself be guided for my intuition, you know. And I feel like that moments of ritual for me help me to have that meditative moment, and through symbology I can focus more, and then I feel myself in a more quiet space, you know. There's a little bit more empty, and in the emptiness the creation can start. So yeah, I find really, you know, I can't go straight away to the canvas and start to do like and yeah, I need to do like a little bit of, okay, prepare my space, you know, put my incense, my candles, and maybe do like a 10 minutes meditation sometimes, or not, you know, sometimes I do ritual. And when I'm on the wall, you know, it's, as I say, it's maybe that moment of, okay, I'm here, you know, with the wall. If it's freestyle, it's that moment. If not, you know, you will have that sketch before, you know, then you could have that moment in the intimacy of your space, of your room or your studio. But in the wall, like maybe like sit down in front of the wall when I arrive, and then I kind of visualize the space and trying to, what I see here, visualize it there, and then immerse myself, you know, with like the physicality of it.
Yes, the actual doing it then, yes.
Yeah. And then you finish like, I can't feel my body.
Yes, and then it's aching and
like,
you have to rest and you're
and then you feel super good as well, because then now you will sleep like a baby.
Yes, yes, exactly. That's it, done.
Yeah.
Elno, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for me. That's been fascinating to know more about your work. I've loved seeing your career ever since you've been in this country, really, in London. It's really
you've been a supporter since the day one, man. Yeah, definitely. I think I always say as well, like, you know, people like you make our work being known. Because our work is really ephemeral, and sometimes we paint and that will last 24 hours, or sometimes
Doesn't
even
last
less.
long sometimes, does it? No.
Or sometimes you're lucky and it lasts, longer. But people that follow our work and support our work, that is what make our work to be as well known. And in 10 years time, that will be, maybe in some books in the university, like with this movement, because it's definitely an art movement.
That's the memory, isn't it? It's the memory
of
these.
And documentate it is I think is so important. So I'm really grateful as well to meet you in this life and